Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for your patience. I know we get started promptly at 7 p.m., but as you can see, we are upgrading, new vibe, new energy. We are so excited to be live. Hey, Lee.
Hey, hey, how's it going?
Good. Doing amazing, doing amazing. So excited about our guest this evening. How are things going with you all?
Everything is going well. I mean, how do you complain? End of February, sunny day, 75 degrees. There's really not a whole lot you get to complain about.
I know, right? But the
Other,
weather is so crazy.
yes. So other than property taxes were due today, that's something to complain about.
Right. But I mean, the good side of that is that there are property taxes to complain about, right? You
Mhm.
know,
True that. True that. Yeah,
I
true that. But
definitely
yeah,
hear that.
everything is everything is good. I did a panel today uh, um, through career thrivers.
Yeah.
So Black Achievers. So it was good. It
Brittany
was
Cole.
yeah, Brittany Cole.
Uh huh.
So it was a really fun time having a chance to share with her audience at the
Hmm.
Renaissance. It was the last day, so it was a really nice event. She did a really good job of putting it together.
That is fantastic. What was one thing that you took away from the event? Putting you on the spot.
I would, one of the things that I would say is that there are people looking up at you, and you don't necessarily know it, but they're looking at you for guidance and just to see how you flow and how you do things, and they draw from that, and they look for people that are going that are either where they want to be or are headed that way. So it was a really good time, just a great time to talk about a lot of different issues, from mental health to how to build wealth to just how to be good men and how to be good
Hmm.
women
Hmm.
to each other. So it was a really good event.
It sounds like an empowering event at the appropriate time of year to really get the day going and get the year started right, right?
For sure, for sure.
Well, that
What have you
is
been up to?
fantastic, Lee. I was in Tennessee last week. Didn't get to catch up with you, but I was ripping and running, and it was really nice to kind of walk through memory lane with my son. So it was been really good. But it's
Okay,
been an exciting week, to say the least.
so
Spent
he
some
got a
time
chance
in
to.
Albany, Georgia last week too, as well.
Okay, I haven't been to Albany in many years, but your son got to hang out with you in Albany and in Nashville.
That's right. Yeah, he absolutely did. And let me tell you, it was a time to be had. And it's
Great.
been a little while since he's been back. So it was a lot of fun.
Okay, yeah, that's good
But we
stuff.
absolutely, but we are not here to talk about us and anything that we have. As you all know, we're just so excited to always have amazing, inspiring guests to grace our stage. This week, we have continuing in just the inspirational leadership and momentum. We have Miss Pamela Myers on. Pamela Myers is a fitness model extraordinaire. I can attest to her results
Uh-oh.
directly when I tell you just the amount of grit and the amount of stick to itness and consistency that she has. But I'm going to go ahead and bring Pamela to the stage so that we can get to know her a little better. So, without further ado, Pamela Myers of Pamela Myers Model Fitness. Hi, Pamela.
Hi, everybody.
Doing
Great, thanks. Yeah, I see
wonderful.
she's modeling those guns today. I see.
Right? Absolutely. Pamela, one of the things about our show is, as you know, we love to take the time to get to know amazing women such as yourself who are doing phenomenal things around the city and around the world. And you have done the exact same. So tell us a little bit more about your unique story of grit.
Very interesting grit. I've been thinking all day about myself as it relates to having grit. And I think you told me one day, yeah, I think you have grit. And I was like, you really do? Because I don't know, I think about my mother, I think about my grandmother. I watched one of your episodes before, one of my friends slash clients, they have these stories that are just I don't know, it just seems so extraordinary. And I guess I look at myself, it's just Pam. But I guess when I look back, you made me, preparing for the interview, you made me kind of look back at myself and just kind of think back through everything I've been through with regards to birthing a business. There was a time when I was an employee, probably 18 years in corporate America, working, doing like everybody else, seeking the American dream and working late evenings, spending the night at work. I was in computer science project management. That was my field before starting this business, and it was almost like my life kind of went full circle at a point when corporate America decided to offload or offshore a lot of our jobs. That pretty much was when Pamela Myers Model Fitness was born, around 2006. I remember sitting in an office with my manager, and him telling me that my job was gone, and that I really didn't know what to do other than I was sitting there knowing I needed to get to the gym because I was registered for a bodybuilding contest. And all I could think about was my preparation. And I pretty much, kind of heard him tell me I didn't have a job anymore. And then I got outside with my box, how you get that box that you get to pack. And then I realized, what am I going to do? And one of my friends just kind of put in my ear a thought, that I spend a lot of time in the gym at that point preparing for competition. Why don't I just make it a business? And so I took that advice, not knowing that 17, almost 18 years later, I'd still be doing it and building my own brand and just kind of having to do all those things that are the definition of grit. Having to have courage, having to persevere and be resilient, and have the passion to keep pushing for my brand and for it to make a difference in the fitness marketplace. So it's just, I don't know. I guess now that you put me on the spot, I do see that in myself before, that I have been through a lot, but have come out on the other side feeling very proud of what I've been able to accomplish.
That is awesome. And I think that especially with what you've gone through is a testament to so many people, especially coming through COVID. People are transitioning into different businesses. The ability to push through, which is what you said, and pivot is so important even now. Can you tell us a little bit more about, the journey of fitness, but also what led you to doing fitness modeling specifically?
Uh, I guess the modeling part was just kind of learning um, that the word symmetry. I never thought about it before. I was just a mom. I'm the mother of two boys, and now I can say young men. At the time, they were boys when I first started dabbling in modeling and just kind of seeing myself in another light. And I do enjoy the jobs that I've been on. I do enjoy. I remember one time one of my jobs had my picture on Cobb Parkway on a billboard. And that just really was like, one of those things where I was like, we put the kids in the car and said, come on, we're going over to check this out. It was just like a moment where you're like, I finally made the billboards. But modeling, it's just one of those things, as it relates to fitness, the whole purpose behind the workout is to achieve a certain look. And to be able to maintain that over time, and it just kind of went hand in hand with regard to getting involved with it myself. It's one of those things where I do a lot of, I guess I end up being the mom, and that's truly my favorite job. But in a lot of the different assignments that I've done, I've been the fit mom. So that's always the best for me to be in the spectrum on that end of the spectrum. So.
That is
Yeah.
100% awesome.
So you lose your job. You had your two boys at the time, um, but it sounds like you didn't even you were so focused on getting to the gym and getting your workout on for your contest that you didn't really think about it. At what point did it hit you that you lost your job and that you already had a plan to move forward?
That's a good question. I don't remember a time, it was just like a transition period. It was almost like when you're in the setting, and like you said, the event you went to,
Hmm.
how people look at you and they see what you have and they will easily follow, right? So it wasn't like I had to go out and find clients. All I had to do was present the business, look the look, show be the product. So
Okay.
that's been with my brand the whole time. That's why I put my image on my business card, because I'm showing you what I want to deliver in your life. Does that make sense?
It does.
So it wasn't like I had this moment where I'm sitting, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I literally did not skip a beat. It was just kind of like I had already found my other tribe. I
Okay.
lost my work group, the people that I had kind of been spending the last few years of my career as a team. We were responsible for an electronic library, and I pretty much had to train people on how to use the tool that we use. It was like an electronic library for, I think it was EDS on the Bell South account. But my job was to train people how to use our tool. And so I just basically took every skill that I had gained in corporate America and rolled it up into my own business. And when I advise my sons, when they're like, one's already graduated, he's an architect, the other is going to come out, hopefully he will be an accountant. And I tell them all the time, every course that you're taking, everything that you're learning, at some point it's going to come full circle to help you build a business of your own. You don't realize it when it's happening, but now when I look back at my career, everything about my career, my college education, my experiences, I rolled it right into Pamela Myers Model Fitness to make it what it is today. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
It does. It does. And I was my follow up question was going to be how you taught your boys to pick up and go as well, and you kind of covered that. So neither one of them going into the fitness business.
No, but they're very fit.
They are.
They're very fit. They eat well. They've watched me teach others how to make choices in the kitchen to bring
Mhm.
balance to their workout. And so both of them are very fit, very lean.
Okay.
They just went through an episode where they had their grandfather was celebrating his 90th birthday over the holidays. His
Mm.
birthday's right after Christmas. And the two of them, being grown men in their 20s, they still got into this thing while celebrating Granddad's birthday. They wanted to arm wrestle each other. Very competitive, just like me. Very competitive. They won't let up. They won't let up.
Uh,
So it turned out one brother ended up accidentally hurting his other brother. He snapped his humerus. So he
Ooh,
had to
that.
have surgery. He's got plates. He's now the bionic kid. But it's just one of those things where it's like they have that competitiveness in them.
Mm.
And I really didn't know I had it until that first contest. And once you get on stage and you get over your nerves and then you see how it goes when it goes well, it's like a fever. You can't let go of it. It's one of those things where it's a goal that you just continue to pursue. And and the good thing about my goal is as long as I'm staying healthy, that's
Hmm.
that's my wealth. That's my wealth.
Mhm.
And I think Sherelle, you talked about COVID. I totally forgot about that going because I went way back. When you asked me to do this, I went way back. Now, why
Mhm.
am I doing this? But COVID was the most recent event that made me really think about why I do what I do. And I think when COVID happened, I stopped competing. I decided that my friends, neighbors, potential clients needed more of my help with educating them on how to defend themselves with improving their health to get through that crisis that we all went through. And to this day, I still continue to want to educate people about how the body works and how to best retain your wellness. That more than money in the bank is what we needed for COVID. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? It's like my
Mhm.
focus changed from my own symmetry and my own getting a trophy or not getting a trophy to there's people out here that don't know how to manage their bodies and they're dying as a result of it.
Mhm.
So my
Right.
focus now has changed. I am a trainer, but I feel more some days like an educator, like
Yep.
a wellness educator, like trying to get people to understand what is a carbohydrate. What is a protein? What is healthy fat? And helping them understand about the importance of bringing some kind of balance into their kitchen and not just killing themselves at the gym,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
the ones that won't even come to the gym and they just continue to gain weight and can't understand why I can't
Mhm.
shake this COVID weight. My
Mhm.
Mhm.
goal for this year is to continuously teach my course. I have a 12-week course that I package it as a challenge because everybody loves a good challenge.
Right.
But my intention is to run it every single quarter of this year and to try to run as many people through it as I can to help, people get that sense of wellness that they don't have post COVID. We still have people carrying 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds of weight of fat, and they don't know how to get rid of it. And that's frustrating.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is. I was at an event yesterday, and we were talking about COVID weight still hanging around. So
Yeah, it's serious. It's very serious because I think a lot of times when it goes unchecked, I always say in my class that you open a door for what we call dis-ease. Nobody
Mhm.
Mhm.
wants to bring that into their life, right?
Right.
Right.
So that's pretty much my passion when I get up in the morning. I teach my food talk class on Fridays. I call it Food Talk Friday, and I spend the week. I do what I'm supposed to do as a trainer. I'm training you how to lift, how many reps, how many sets. I do all of that. But my highlight of my week is when I get to Food Talk Friday,
Mhm.
when I get you to come in the room with me and let's talk about basics. Like this Friday, we're going to be talking about vitamins and understanding, instead of going, when I say to you, oh, you need vitamin C or D, most people want to get in their car, run over to Walgreens and get a bottle.
Oh
And I'm
yeah,
like,
that's
Mhm.
even.
no.
Yeah.
Some of these things you have to get in the bottle. Some of these things you need a referral from your physician to tell you, okay, you need from your blood work, you need this, 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 this. But my thing is, why don't we go to the grocery store? And why
Mhm.
don't we understand where these vitamins come from?
Yeah.
And why
Mhm.
don't we learn how to shop in such a way that we don't get pulled into the marketing? Because there's a lot of marketing when you walk in the front door of the grocery store. So that's my thing. I love Food Talk Friday because I think I'm changing lives and I'm helping families. Because if I can get those
Mhm.
moms or whoever is that person that's responsible for putting the meals on the table in my class, that we can change another generation, not
So
just that person.
that's right. I want to stay right there, Pamela. I went into a restaurant and the restaurant said there was a sign that said eat to live versus live to eat. What is your opinion of that statement in terms of what you've seen and your passion for helping the community understand how to live better lives through what we consume?
I think that is a true statement, very true statement. If you look at all of our holidays, they're all built around food. And I don't have a problem with that, right? We want to, when it says eat to live, it's like I hear that as make right choices and don't just do your mental health with your food. Does that make sense? A lot of times people will go and eat something just because it's a comfort or just to avoid their feelings or emotions. And I think we need to kind of start to find ways that when we have our big events or our holidays, that we be more mindful about what we're presenting for people to choose from. Um, Live to eat, um, to me means know what to choose so that you're choosing something that gives you life, that instead of brings you more problem, like sugar, salt, fat. Those three things in the grocery store or in a restaurant, for the most part, is what they use to manipulate you when you come into that environment. If they increase any of those three, I promise you're going to have a meal that you just absolutely love, and you'll be like, you can't wait to get back there again. But you got to, like, when you go shopping in the grocery store, you got to have the right mindset when we go out into the public and make choices in these restaurants. And even at the Smoothie King, at your gym's smoothie bar counter, you have to be an informed consumer and know what you're buying and understand your body well enough that you know how to fuel yourself in such a way that you're not being a glutton, that you're not causing yourself harm, right? Because the opposite of life is death. So there's this term, I remember saying it to my mother one day because I get so upset with her. She's a diabetic. And I watch, like people in our family deal with diabetes, and it's a phrase called body suicide. It's almost like if you don't live to eat things properly, your opposite is that body suicide. You're killing yourself one meal at a time. So I take that if I saw that in a restaurant, I would be like, I might come back here again. Because at the same time they're selling you, I would think, what restaurant was it? I'm curious.
Cecili's.
Okay.
It's a vegan restaurant.
Yeah, see, they know. And to be, a lot of the vegan restaurants, there's a lot of education when people come in there, and what they're coming in for is flavor and taste. They want that salt, fat, sugar. And if the vegan restaurant can pull it off, they get new customers because they're thinking, oh, this isn't bad. So I think that's a great thing.
So what do you find with your clients? What's the most difficult part of eating healthy?
My brain is thinking consistency. Like they'll give me a couple days of compliance, and then the weekend will happen, and we separate from each other. And then they go, I can't even remember what I had. When they tell me I can't remember, that means they did something bad. It's like, oh, so now you got memory loss? But it's consistency, I think, but my thing, I'm trying to build habits. I know that when I'm dealing with people that there's some bad habits there. I have some myself. You can even talk about addiction. Add that word in there. There's some true addiction out there. Salt, fat, and sugar being the worst because it's a legal drug that you can go in the grocery store and pick you up a hit. And a lot of times people don't even think about it that way, but that's what's happening. So I think the biggest thing for me is to help you to pay attention, to understand when you're to make good choices, to pay attention to the things that you're choosing to fuel your body with. You know what I'm saying? And not just grab anything. Have a plan, just like your work, your day. Most people leave the house and they have an idea where they're going, what they're going to do.
That's right.
What time and how long they're going to spend, but do you have a plan for your eating? And in the course of my class, there's a point where I'll actually take the schedule and I'll write down, like my meals, I typically do them on hours that divide by 3. So I start at 6 a.m. So I'll say at 6 a.m., where am I? 9, 12, 3, 6, and 9. Where am I? What am I doing? And then based on that, I decide if I'm going to have a sit down meal or if I'm going to have a portable meal. You know what I'm saying? You have to think through your day. Don't just run out the house, but take with you, like we used to do with the babies. I always use the example of the babies. You don't just grab a gallon jug and stick it in a diaper bag and some nipples and hand it to, the nursery daycare person and say, okay, this is what they're going to eat today. You make 6 bottles, correct? And you put nipples on each one of those bottles, and you tell the daycare, give the child this drink at 6, 9, same, just like the adult. So it's the same thing. You have to have an adult diaper bag and know, or have in your mind, like, I know when I leave the house, if I don't have a bag with me, I know where I'm going to go to get a protein drink. I know who has a smoothie bar. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not like, what is that commercial? When that guy's playing football and it's Betty White, she's out on the field with them and she's hangry, and the guy starts acting like Betty White when he's hungry. You don't want to be that person, right? Yeah, so you want to plan ahead, so you don't want to become that while you're out. And a lot of times that's when the problems happen, when you fail to have a plan. We've heard that 1,000 times in corporate. You got to have a plan. You got to have a plan for your nutrition. And think about it as fueling, just like your car. You would not go out, say all these electric cars, without charging up your car, knowing how many miles you've got to go. And it's the same thing with your eating, just trying to teach people that concept. And I developed over the years that I've been doing this, what I call my own eating plan. It's called the Trinity Eating Plan. And the number 3 keeps coming up. So that's why I like that name, because it helps me communicate to people when I say I need you to eat every 3 hours, and I need you to make sure on that plate there's three components, what we all know: protein, carbohydrate, healthy fat. And then you qualify. You always have to add the adjectives, because if you don't add the adjectives, then they put in their own. So you always want to say you want lean protein, fibrous carbohydrates, healthy fats, right? And that kind of narrows down the choices that they get to make. But it's just one of those things where my biggest job is getting that transparency in the kitchen. Getting that transparency in the kitchen. And it's really funny because I don't know if I said, but I spent a year sitting with, Alcoholics Anonymous. There is an equivalent organization for food addicts. I sat in the room with them for a year as a trainer and watched these people, 400, 500-pound people, lose entire people, 150, 200 pounds, and now they're normal weight. And they've been able to maintain that for several years, which is the true definition of weight loss. Not I lost 50 pounds last year and now I'm 70 pounds heavier. That's not weight loss. That's yo-yo. But for the true people that have dropped their weight, I watched them do it. And I sat there as a trainer and a sugarholic. I am one. But I sat there long enough to figure out that they didn't do any working out. They did none. And I'm sitting there as a trainer going, when are y'all going to work out? And they never did. And I sat there and I was like, you know what? I don't like the look. What they end up with is that saggy skin. You know what I'm saying? Not very aesthetic, but weight loss is there. So my idea when I developed my Trinity eating plan was to add in, on top of the eating plan, add in some physical activity, right? All the dimensions of a good workout. Hydration, strength training, stretching, good nutrition, all of that, rest. And that's the big one that now post-COVID, y'all should see. If you go, I know y'all have seen it already. When you go on Instagram and you see these guys doing these extreme workouts, like lifting bikes, right? Lifting bikes and pushing cars, all this craziness after COVID. It's kind of like all that's not necessary. If we can find balance in nutrition, balance in our activity, then what you need, the transformation will occur. All that craziness isn't necessary.
Yeah. Wow. How impactful is that? All balance in nutrition, balance in physical activity. I mean, you gave us quite a few. The Trinity that you talked about. This is just so rich, Pamela. And I think that, I read somewhere that I think it was a Netflix film that I saw that said sometimes we're digging our graves with our teeth. But just the mere fact of really focusing on it, I think, is so important. Believe it or not, we are more than halfway through our segment. This has just been so rich. Pamela Myers, thank you so much. We are going to pull you backstage for just a moment, give you a chance for you to hydrate, right? For you to get your hydration. Me and Lee will bring you back up in just a moment. Lee, did you have a question or anything you wanted to give Pamela to think about before we take our quick break?
I do, and typically it's usually a pretty serious one, but this one is fun. What's your favorite cheat food?
Oh, Oreos. Wait. I got a new one. Oreos, triple stuff. Have you seen a triple stuff Oreo? I lost my mind in the gas station the other day.
A triple
I'm a chocolate. I'm the daughter. I'm the daughter of a diabetic. And I will also go as far as to say I'm the daughter of an alcoholic. And that's just a sugar addiction for alcohol, right? So it's like I have a true addiction. I really have to control it. But yeah, triple, I think it's triple stuff. I saw double stuff before, but then I saw this triple. I about lost it in the store. I had to be taken out the store. They had to escort me out.
Oh,
wow.
But I love cookies. I love cookies. Yeah. I love baking cookies. It makes me remember when my kids were little. I keep cookie dough in my refrigerator. And my youngest child, every time he comes over, I'm like, don't you eat my cookie dough.
He likes it too.
Yep, yeah, so just like mommy.
So when we come back, I want you to tell us how you fight your favorite cheat food. How do you, so when we come back, let's and that's something that all of us will learn from is how do we get away from our cheap
Trying to
food,
fight
and
it.
and then how often maybe we should be able to cheat. So,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
all right, thank
We'll
you.
bring
We're
you
gonna
right
be
back.
transparent.
Yes,
Yes.
we'll be transparent. Hey, we need it.
Man, Lee,
Oh,
I'm
triple
taking notes
stuff.
over here.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Yeah.
I made a note. I'm actually good. I want to go check that out. Triple stuffed Oreo cookie. I mean, I love chocolate as well. Chocolate doesn't love me. It shows up on my face when I eat it. But
Okay. Yeah, our family, we got a chocoholic, for the most part, a chocoholic family. Um, we have one that doesn't, not really into chocolate, but other than that, everybody else is.
now, is it milk chocolate or dark chocolate?
We just
Or,
like it all.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it all. Yeah, we'll do. Valerie makes these vegan chocolate chip cookies that are
Mhm.
like really sinful. As
Mm.
good as they are, something's got to be wrong with them.
You'll have to tell her to send me that recipe,
Right.
man.
Yep. So they're really good. And then what about, have you had a fried Oreo, a
I
deep fried
have
Oreo?
not. I've heard so much about fried Oreos, but I have not personally had any fried Oreos. I've been trying this year to manage my sugar intake as much as possible. But
Okay.
no, but for me, so my kryptonite is ice cream, funnel cakes.
Okay.
Like I'm the person when I go to a fair, I go straight to
Hmm.
the food carts and I want to just kind of sample
Gotcha.
most everything, because it's just there for that one time, right? And then you gotta go away, and I gotta get it back together. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway,
We got
that's
to
one
try
of the
it.
things that
That's right.
I would say.
So what are you up to? What do our listeners need to know about you? You got a new book out. What
Yeah,
can they do?
book is coming soon. Keep your eyes out because we will be actually starting pre-sales next month. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about the next book that's coming. This year is year 10 for Vision Strategy Management. I mean, the numbers continue to roll in terms of the companies that we have impacted with being able to add additional revenue streams to their businesses. So, we're just super excited about being able to do that. And then, on the family side, my son is doing track and golf, and that's keeping me busy. I mean, like some days I feel like I'm spinning in circles, but that's where the nutrition and the physical activity are so important to keep up with
Hmm.
the lifestyles that we have. So I think this is
Sure.
so important and on time. But what about you, Lee? I mean, I believe a congrats is in order. I mean, I'll let you do the honors of what I read online. I mean, so amazing.
Oh gosh, yeah. I'm honored to have the opportunity to chair 100 Black Men of Middle Tennessee. It's my second time around. Uh,
Awesome.
yeah. So apparently, I did something right 10 years ago or so, and
Hmm.
the members of the chapter
Amazing.
wanted me to come back. So I'm looking forward to it. We do a lot of stuff with young boys. I was talking to a mom today, and her son's going to be a part of a college tour that we're doing. We're in
Yeah.
conjunction. So this is something new. It's a co-ed college tour. So the 100, we only mentor Black boys from the area, and so we had an opportunity. One of our members and philanthropists that helps fund some of our experiences was working with another nonprofit and say, hey, why don't you all do a joint college tour? And we say, hey, why not? And so we got it put together, and the young men that are doing it are excited about the trip, and so I think this particular kid, his mom's going to try to sneak down and make sure. Now that she knows there are girls on the trip, she's going to sneak down and check on them. But
Uh
yeah,
oh.
so we're excited about that. We have a lot of things we're working on, and
Hmm.
working towards our gala, which is June 24th at
Fantastic.
Gaylord Opryland. So just yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Awesome. Alonzo Stanley says, great info. Thank you so much for joining in, Alonzo. Yes, definitely. I think inspiring and empowering information. And I heard a lot of
Mhm.
great things from the table as well. And M3 Live says, if you have a question, please put a Q in front of it so that we can acknowledge you and bring you up on stage and make sure that we grab your question as well. And feel free to leave any questions that you have. This is one of the things when we talk about health and wellness that is most commonly researched and most commonly Googled, which is really interesting. The nature of us, individuals wanting to make right decisions when it comes to our health. So this is the right time. We've got an amazing woman on deck to give you real authentic feedback about how to do this right. If it was something that we were all doing well, we wouldn't be researching it as much, right? So
So
this is
true.
the
So
stage.
true.
And
Yeah.
even sometimes when we think that we're doing it right, there's always an opportunity to improve. There's always things that we can learn. So I think Pamela's doing an amazing job just really sharing with that as well. So we're ready
Mhm.
to bring Pamela back on stage.
Let's bring her back.
All right. Hey, Pamela. Welcome back.
Hey,
Hey, Pamela.
hello. I've
Hello,
been thinking
hello.
about your question, Lee.
Okay. All right. What you got?
All right. So, okay, this is the thing. With my clients, I tell them all the time, Sherelle included, you're not on a diet. So
Mm-hmm.
there's
Okay.
no need for a cheat day. You're
Okay.
not on a diet.
Mm.
Okay.
But what there is a need for is knowing your numbers. Knowing your numbers. You know your numbers in the gym. What you're going to lift, how many sets, how much weight. You got all that. But I
Yep.
need you to know on the other side what's happening in the kitchen. So
Okay.
whatever is your cheat, your weakness, if it's like my ex-father-in-law, the sweet potato pie. Now,
Hmm.
Popeye's way to handle the sweet potato pie would be Mama would break the pie, she lay it up, put it on the counter. Popeye would slice 1/4 out, put it on a plate. Then he would take the 3/4 in the TV room and he would eat the 3/4. And we would be left with the 1/4. See, that's Papa. So what I need you to do is don't be like Papa.
I love
What I
that.
need you to do is cut out a serving.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Have it. Have it. Don't ever put yourself in a predicament where you're feeling like I can't have this or I can't have that. When I hear my clients say that, I look at them and go, "Who told you that? I never told you you couldn't have anything." But what I
okay.
did say is look at it, examine it. What's in that pie?
Hmm.
Carbohydrates,
Okay.
fat. What's
Yep.
missing? Protein.
Yeah.
So find a protein that you can couple with it to bring that treat into balance.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense? So there's no
Yeah.
need for a cheat. If everything you do, you bring some balance to it. Like Super Bowl night, I was watching Rihanna, got on my Rihanna red.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I said for Super Bowl, what am I gonna have? So I like nachos and I like cheese and I like so what did I do? I made some ground turkey. I got
Hmm.
the authentic seasoning sauce, so it would taste like the real thing.
Okay.
And I made my own nachos. Right?
Okay.
When you make your own meals, you know the ingredients and you know what's in it, and then you can also know the numbers. Like, what is a serving of that? How much protein is that? How
Hmm.
much of it can I have? So you got
Mm-hmm.
to really start to know your numbers. And I know some people, they don't want to do numbers for the rest of their life. I don't need you to do it for the rest of your life. I need you to do it for about, say, anywhere from 2 to 12 weeks, just so that you can start to understand when you sit down in front of a meal, how many calories are you really consuming? I
Hmm.
went um I went on a field trip with one of my clients, and we went to Chick-fil-A, beloved Chick-fil-A, and we got the beloved lemonade, the real one, not the
Yes.
diet one. So I
Okay.
got a small. We got the waffle fries. I got a small. I got the grilled nuggets. I got a large. I got the kale salad. I wanted a large, but what I got was a small. I was very upset. And when I
Mm-hmm.
asked them about it, they said that we only have one size. I was like, "What do you mean you only have one size?" But long story short, I made balance at Chick Fil
Chick-fil-A.
A.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
got the other product they have, the macaroni and cheese. Got that too. And my clients now, she's looking at me like, "What are you doing?" But I had enough food in that order to last me several meals,
Hmm.
right? I
Mm-hmm.
took
Okay.
the large nuggets that were grilled and I got an 8 piece. So I put 4 pieces to a side, 4 pieces. I put half the macaroni with that. I took the kale salad. I made like 3 or 4 different meals out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay.
I Waffle House, our favorite place.
Yes.
What's the number one thing that's purchased at Waffle House? I bet you the All American.
All American. Yep.
Mm.
And then they
Yep.
sit there and they eat all of it. I have busted so many of my clients sitting at a Waffle House because I walk in and they're like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "What are you doing here?" It's like I feel that I know how to order at a Waffle House, but if I get the All American, literally, I'm serious. That's about 3 meals in one. So you
Really?
got to know how to cut things in half. Don't eat the whole waffle. Eat half of
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
I always order, when I order eggs, I do either 3 or 4. I get
Mhm.
one whole egg, and then the 3, I ask them to take the yolks out. So I get 3 egg whites and a whole egg because I like yellow.
Mm.
Okay.
And I'll cut that, and I'll add one slice of cheese, not a lot, just one slice of cheese. And I'll take those 4 eggs, cut them in half, and put it with half the waffle, the other with the other half. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? It's like,
Mhm.
Okay.
and then it comes with I think bacon and grits or something.
Sausage.
That's a
Mhm.
whole nother meal, grits and bacon. That's 1 to 3 meals in that All American.
Okay.
Mm.
And I
So
don't get the toast. I tell them just throw the bread away. I don't want the bread because I already
ooh,
got the bread and the waffle are redundant. There's so many
Right.
redundancies in our
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I tell them all the time, it's like you get grain in your diet. It's part of what you're entitled to. But
Mm.
that doesn't mean that every meal grain can be present,
Right.
right?
Mm.
So when I say grain, think about flour and wheat,
Mhm.
and what it once by the time you add water and all the other stuff, it becomes a pancake, it becomes a
Yeah.
waffle, it becomes a bread, a roll, a dinner roll, those cheesy things at that Red
Yes.
Lobster, right? That's what grain
So
is.
that's my
So
thing. I
you
mean,
got
like, and for
go
me,
ahead.
bread, I was going to say bread is actually my kryptonite. Like, I love, absolutely love bread. But Pamela, tell us a little bit more about, like, for those that are watching, our viewers, how do they overcome, or how did you overcome any self-limiting beliefs in your journey? How did you, whether it was, the consistency that you talked about, being able to build consistency, or things of that nature, how do our viewers be able to get to a place where they can overcome any type of self-limiting beliefs that might limit them from moving into better health?
It's a that's a very good question, and it's that mental health portion of the workout.
Mm-hmm.
One of those, the endorphins, that's real. I remember being very, very depressed. And I remember that feeling of training for something, right? Having a date set and reaching a goal. And then you come home with your hardware, and then you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, I'm a champion. I'm a winner. It does something to your mental health. And I think it's a good thing, being able to have a goal, set a goal, and if it's just to drop a 1% body fat, it's still a goal. And I think having that success and like I said, having consistency, I think it helps with your mental health, your overall mental health. I think that a lot of people are out searching for the fountain of youth, and I really think that the place to go is the gym, because there's so many things that you get in return on your investment of time and effort to go there and do the work, coupled with doing the same thing in your own kitchen to get those results. I think it helps us when we do exercise and eat right. The body works as it is designed. The brain fires the way it's supposed to fire, and we're able to process things, I think, in a better way when we're fit and well and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So, what have you found, Pamela? Maybe some of the cultural barriers or obstacles or beliefs or what have you that affect our decisions when we're eating and trying to get in shape and all that. What are some of the cultural or are there?
Well, I mean, you said that your question, as you're forming it, my brain went to dollar signs.
Hmm.
Everybody can't afford to eat well. And I get
Okay.
a lot of people telling me I can't afford that or I don't have that. You know what I'm saying? They can't afford the trainer. They can't afford the gym membership, So I literally, with COVID, I had to rethink a lot of things sitting here in this house. Um, the minimum being that everybody can have a schedule that doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
Using Zoom and doing virtual. My virtual business didn't exist before COVID. Post COVID, I prefer virtual over face to face some days, because I can go into a person's home over their phone, give them a discounted rate because now we're using another platform. It's not that you got to come in a gym, pay a membership. You know what I'm saying? So it makes it more affordable. So one of the things, that whole thing I do with the dimensions, fitness in all dimensions. One of those dimensions is finance, and I put
Mhm.
that out there because I care about my clients' budget. I
Okay.
understand that when I'm telling you to eat healthy, that's going to cost you something. But it's
Mhm.
just one of those things where the money, it's at the root of everything. You know, you look at the pharmaceutical companies, what they're pushing, you look at the grocery store, it's all about money. But it's
Right.
just one of those things where we as people need to start to really, like, I have a friend, his slogan is your health is your wealth. That is so real. If COVID didn't teach us anything, it should have cemented that into our heads, that you might have a bank account full of money, but if you don't have the health to fight an invisible virus to keep you on this planet, there's you got to look at that. It's like you can't pursue the American dream and just forget about your health. Oh, and the my other picture, everybody that's working, building up their retirement fund, and going, missing time with family to put all this money in the bank, and then you get to the other end of your life, and it's a struggle. It's like you've got so many medications, you've got mobility issues, and you want to travel the world, and it's a challenge now. So I think, it's all about money, and just kind of making a decision early in your life about what's really important. You know,
Mhm.
what is the thing you want to pass? I know for me, I want to pass wellness and health to my sons. If they don't have anything else, have that, because
Yeah.
it allows you to do so much and go so many places. Because when you're limited, you're limited. You can't function well if you're not a healthy person. So I think it's just so important, to make right decisions with how you use your money, how you shop, how you don't waste. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, I know I have issues. Sometimes I'll buy things, and the kind of food I want people to buy, it doesn't have a long shelf life because it's fresh and it's alive. And you kind of have to, be aware of your budget when you are shopping for healthy foods, and eat them. Don't let it waste. Because everybody, like, can't afford to be healthy. It's a
Mhm.
luxury. But it's one of those things where I want to even the playing field and make it so that all families, even with whatever you have. I mean, I think for COVID, I had a period where it was like whatever was in the church box, make it work, make it
Okay.
healthy.
Mm.
That's right.
Yeah. So my last question, I know, believe it or not, is our time is up. But
No.
It goes
yes,
by
yes,
so
this
fast.
is fantastic. We're hearing a lot about mental health right now. What's the relationship with your physical health and the way you eat and your mental health? And I'm not saying that it would replace, a counselor or some other things that go on from a mental health perspective. But what are you finding or seeing that, being in shape and eating right? How do you see that affecting our mental health?
Well, I mean, like I said before, the too much salt, fat, sugar puts you on a pathway. Hold on, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Hold on. Put
Man, this is so phenomenally and it's rich
It is.
even with everything that Pamela is talking about because health and fitness is, I mean, it goes together and it's just so important and it's definitely worth addressing, especially within our communities, because this is something that we have to do every single day.
Right.
Our decisions in life in terms of how well our health is and our,
Hmm.
health is wealth is made with every single decision that we make every single day.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
So as I was saying, I have a little noise maker here. He's here. So
Okay. Hey.
he was knocking on the door. But just understanding that the diseases that come as a result of eating wrong, the hypertension, too much salt, the diabetes, too much sugar, fat, cancer. So it's just one of those things where I think what we eat does matter, and I think a lot of times people, will have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, so it's going to be all right. But you have to really start to guard yourself and protect yourself, because our mental health is affected. I'm a witness. It's like I was so depressed, but it's just kind of like getting on the path to not just the eating right, but the combined movement. We said in our class last time we met, stillness is associated with death. movement is associated with life. So a combination of eating right and exercising, I think, helps us to mentally to
Hmm.
be prepared, to do the things that we need to do, because the brain doesn't fire well in an unhealthy environment. But when you
Hmm.
clean everything up, your thoughts are clearer. You're able to
Okay.
process and make better decisions. Just changing, just a few changes here and there in your diet. It's like you see the benefits of it in weeks, not
Yeah,
Mm.
months.
that's
When you
right.
Right.
start eating right, you start thinking clearly. And it's
Hmm.
it's not a phenomenon, it's reality. The body is designed to have quality fuel.
That's right.
Just like your car. You would not
Hmm.
have a Maserati and go, to the low grade gas place to fill up. You're going to find the most quality fuel you can to put in it. And our bodies are masterfully made,
Right.
beautifully and wonderfully made. And we've got to start paying attention to the quality that we put into our life, like what we eat, where we go, and what we do. Your environment, you choose your environments. It's like,
Hmm.
don't go places where it's smoke filled and, it's just unhealthy. So it's just
Hmm.
one of those things where we've got to make right choices.
That's right. It's all in the decisions that we make. And this is so rich. I know we could definitely go on, but we
For
definitely want
sure.
to make sure that we give you an opportunity. I believe we had a question actually come up in the chat. So I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to get that question to you. And then after the question, we would love to hear any final thoughts that you have and engage with our guests in terms of how they can connect with you. And then we will wrap for the evening. Believe it or not, this went by so fast. Okay, Sun 3 Live says, how does age factor into a wellness plan?
I actually was thinking about myself the other day. Sometimes I have 80-year-olds that I work with, and one of my 80-year-olds, he says, I can't wait till you get old. Because I don't treat them any different. I look at the body as the body. And when we do right things, you become ageless. I feel, if I wanted to ask you guys a question, it's like, how old do you feel? Because I think that's what you want to work for. You don't want to be in a body that feels aged,
Mm-hmm.
right? I
Mm-hmm.
feel 18.
Mm,
I'm 58.
yeah,
My numbers are off.
amazing. Mm-hmm.
But
Hmm.
my physical fitness is probably better than it was when I was in high school. So it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, age is a factor, but I think you become ageless when you
Mm,
get on this path to wellness,
mm,
and you can reclaim years back, right? I have my AKA, I'm a AKA member of AKA. We have our 40th anniversary coming up. So apparently I pledged when I was 18. And I think at that age was impressed upon me. I think it must have been the happiest time of my life. I graduated from high school. I went off to college, my first time away from my family, and that age is impressed in my psyche. I feel 18, but I know chronologically I was born in 1964. I have aged to the age of 58, but that 40 years I don't feel it because I make right choices and I try to do right things.
mm.
That workout isn't just for aesthetics. It keeps you young. It keeps you. It is the fountain of youth. I think gyms are the fountain of youth.
Wow.
Whoever was out exploring the world trying to find it, it's at your gym. It's in your kitchen,
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's
right?
powerful.
So age to me, my 83-year-olds, I push them.
Hmm.
I push
That's
them. I
powerful.
remind them to be safe, but I push them.
Hmm. That's awesome. Well, Pamela, tell us how our guests can engage with you. How do they find you online? Anything of the sort that you would like to leave.
And I am up to date. My kids have me using Instagram. They don't like it when I stalk them, but I'm at PMMFitness. My website, same thing. Here you don't need the www anymore, so you can just say pmmfit.com. You can go there and schedule an appointment. You can go there and purchase access to my course. I have a link there for my books. I have a reference manual for the course that I teach, as well as old school journals.
Give
I
it to
don't
us
know. A lot of
again. Give us the
people,
link again.
It's pmmfit.com. And on that link, you'll find books and you'll find the reference manual. You'll find my 12 module course, which is a basic nutrition course that is a prerequisite, really, for me. Anybody that wants to train with me, I really need them to go through that course. Yes. Um, but once you get to that link or even to the Instagram at PMMFIT, there's a link tree and all my favorite vendors, I have them listed there for products and services and things that I have kind of put my hand on. Even fashion. I don't have my own fashion line yet, but I did partner with a company called Zaya that has fitness wear, or what I call athleisure wear, for men, women, boys, and girls, because I'm wanting to engage whole families. I want the parents to teach
Awesome.
the kids how to be fit, so I have fitness wear for everybody, and that's called Zaya, and you'll find that on my link tree.
Fantastic. Well, Pamela, this has been phenomenal, phenomenal time. Are there any like one or two nuggets that you want to leave with our guests before we close out and for the evening?
Just get get smart. Be your own best advocate. Know your numbers in the gym. Know your numbers in the kitchen. They're important. Take the time to figure out what your body requires, just like you do your car. Figure out what you need to get through a day. And if you need help, reach out. I'll be more than happy to sit with you to show you how to get to your numbers and how to track it in such a way that all you have to do is eat right, do a little movement every day, and stay young in mind, body, and spirit.
That is just super
Mhm.
phenomenal. Thank you so much for your time, Pamela. Lee,
Yeah,
anything else you want to add before we jump to
no,
the recap?
this has been great, great information, great inspiration to inspire people to all of us to watch what we're eating. Uh, we don't have to be on a diet and exercise, and as simple as it sounds, uh, it could be that simple if we don't make it complicated for ourselves. But thank you
Hmm.
very much for your time, and look forward to just seeing you continue to thrive and be successful and getting people um, into better shape and better health.
Yes.
That's my goal. I look forward to it.
Thank you, Pamela.
And Sherelle's going to wrap us up.
Yeah, I'm going to do a quick recap of everything that we captured throughout the entire time. First, thank you so much, Pamela, for your time, for the ability to grace the stage and share your unique story of grit. We know that our viewers are benefiting tremendously for your story and the ability to be authentic in your sharing. So, thank you for that. So, the quick recap of everything again, thank you all for joining Women with Grit. Listen, Pamela has really graced the stage. So if you have not learned anything about health and fitness, like you want to go ahead and share this and make sure that you share it with those who need to hear this information, especially as it relates to taking our health to the next level. She talked about the ability to have courage, right? And the ability to know and that as you're going throughout your story and that you're going throughout your journey to find your tribe. And sometimes that tribe will bring inspiration to you that you might not otherwise see. Again, want to continue to pick out that trend from each guest from one week to the next that talks about the importance of having a tribe in place, right? Find the transferable skills. She talked about the transition that she made from corporate America to business ownership and the ability to take the relevant skills from one space and be able to apply it to the next. So as you go about your journey and as you go about your life, as you find yourself pivoting from one place to the next, find the ability to have those transferable skills, because in life, as she mentioned, things tend to come full circle, and the skills that you've used early in life may be the ones that you use later in life as well. Recognize and remember that health is wealth. There is only one you. So recognizing that how you treat yourself now determines what you see later, and that the age that you exist in now doesn't have to be the one that you function in later, right? The numerical value of the age that you are in right now does not necessarily have to equate to how you feel in the moment or how you feel later. That has to do a lot with making right choices in terms of what you consume, being able to get up and move your body. Sometimes little movements are what you need to get the journey going, to continue to move forward. Be an informed consumer. She talked about knowing your numbers and knowing your body so that you know exactly what you need to feed it, so that as you continue, you know exactly what to need, whether it's the right amount of fat, carbohydrates, or lean protein as well. Build consistency within your schedule. Recognize that in order to change habits, that is going to require diligence in being consistent from one thing to the next. She talked about the Trinity eating plan, 3 hours eating, as well as from three different subsets and groups, knowing how to consume so that you can still balance out what you enjoy with the aspect of what you need as well. Know your numbers, create balance in your nutritional plan, set a goal, commit to following it, and follow through with the discipline to see it through. Become your own best advocate for your health and for yourself. Know what you need along the way, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Know that again, there's only one you, and the ability to improve sometimes is outside of the scope of what you've always been doing. So it's okay to ask for help along the way. Pamela, this has been a tremendous, tremendous time. Again, we thank you so much for taking the time to grace the stage of Women with Grit. I think our guest gained quite a bit as well. So thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Yep. Thank you. And
All
thank
right.
you all for tuning in this evening. Be sure to like and share and like and call your friends and tell
That's
them
right.
to go to our Facebook page, which is Women with Grit, or
Mhm.
our YouTube channel, Women with Grit,
That's
and
right.
check out the replay of Pamela Myers, the fitness model
That's
and
right.
professor.
That's right. And join us next week for another guest on Women with Grit. Have an amazing night. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. That was awesome.